wine on your seat, come give me that.
Good night and welcome to Let's Connect on 88.5 Soufriere FM. I am your host, Reniata D'Souza. We're having a wonderful night so far. Hoping that those of you listening, those of you joining us on Facebook Live, those of you on our YouTube as well, that you're having a great night as well. Those of you listening on the radio, hope that your night is going great as well. We have some wonderful guests joining us tonight. Honorable Emma Hippolyte is on her way to us, coming down from Parliament, so she will be with us shortly. And we also have with us Miss Erica Joseph, as well as Miss Cecilia Edward, who will be joining us virtually. We want to start off our program as usual by shouting out all the wonderful communities within Soufriere who are always locked on to us, always keeping it locked. Let me just ask my technician to switch over to my comments for me, please, so that I can see those of you who are already on our live. If you want to say hello. Thank you very much. All right. So we want to say good night to all the outskirts, all the communities in the outskirts. We want to say good night to those of you in Etangs, those of you in Belfort. If you're in Chateau Belair, good night to you. If you are in Monlacroix or Fort-Joli, we hope that your night is going very well. We want to say good night to the entirety of Fonsejac, all the communities in Fonsejac, Mini, Moka, Espérance, Belvedere, St. Philip, everybody who have in Clare. We want to say good night to the entirety of Fonsejac tonight. We want to shout out Colabet, we want to shout out Crestland, we want to shout out Zeno. So good night to all of you guys. We want to say good night to Sulphur Springs. We want to say good night to Margaret as well. Good night to those of you at New Development. Hope that your night is going very well as well. We want to say good night to Palmis, good night to Fort Bernier. We want to say a wonderful, wonderful good night to those of you at Lenny's Hill, those of you in Market Road, those of you at Barron's Drive. Good night to those of you joining us from overseas, those of you joining us from St. Vincent. We know that Miss Fancy Bowens is always locked on to our Let's Connect program, always listening to 88.5 Soufriere. We will love you so very much for your wonderful patronage of our radio station. We love you so much over there in St. Vincent. Good night to everybody joining us in New York, those of you joining us all over the globe. Thank you so very much for keeping it locked to Let's Connect on 88.5 Soufriere FM. So we want to also give a little bit of a celebratory shout out in advance for his birthday celebrations tomorrow, Mr. Anthony Charles, who will be celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday to you in advance, coming from all of us here at Let's Connect and from the Soufriere constituency. And we do have, unfortunately, some sad news today. We would like to announce and also share our condolences with the families. So we want to shout out the family of Marvinus Hippolyte. We know him as our beloved baker here in Soufriere who passed away. And we want to shout out the family, his wife, his children, his immediate family, sisters, brothers, everybody who is currently mourning his death, his close friends. Everybody, good night to you who are mourning. We want to send out our condolences, our deepest sympathies to the family. Today, we also lost Miss Angela Joseph of Barron's Drive. We want to send out our deepest condolences to the Barron's Drive community, as well as to specifically Doreen Joseph, to T. John, to Miss Lucy Joseph, to the entirety of the Joseph family in Barron's Drive and all around Soufriere and St. Lucia. We want to send our deepest sympathies to you as you mourn the death of your loved one. It is truly a sad time for you, and we do hope that whatever light that you get from just the memories of your loved one, that you will be able to hold it dear to your hearts. We want to do a start off tonight with our guests, Miss Cecilia Edward and Miss Erica Joseph, who are joining us. We're also, and like I said, we're anticipating Honorable Emma Hippolyte. She's very close by, so as soon as she comes in, she'll join us in the conversation. So good night to you, Cecilia. Good night to you, Miss Erica Joseph. I'm meeting Miss Erica for the first time. Wonderful to meet you.
Good night.
Hold on.
Good night to you, Reniata. Good night to you, Miss Erica Joseph. Good to see you on our platform.
All right.
Reniata, you look so beautiful. You look so lovely.
We're always spectacled.
You look so.
I hope we're not the blind.
No, none of us are.
All right. So
it's wonderful to be back on again with you.
Awesome.
It's wonderful to be back on. We keep talking together, and I'm saying it's wonderful to be back on Let's Connect tonight with us. And it's a pleasure to have Miss Erica Joseph. I'm sure she's quite capable of introducing herself. So I'll let
Thank
you
you.
and her go ahead and do that. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, Miss Erica, good night to you. Welcome to our Let's Connect program.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Yes.
Awesome. So Cecilia Edward and Miss Erica Joseph tonight are both representing Bon Nouvel Estate at Esperance. Now, on our last show, we did speak briefly about Bon Nouvel's Jounen Kweyol celebrations, which we have more information to share on that tonight. We are also anticipating that Honorable Emma Hippolyte will also join in on that conversation, as it's a project very close
Okay.
and dear to her heart as well. So,
Okay.
Cecilia, I know that preparations have been underway. How is it going? How are preparations going? What
Oh,
are we to
I
anticipate in
am
this?
ecstatic. I am thrilled. I am excited. I am excited. I am beyond myself. The brightness, the preparation, and the buzz is already on the ground. So everybody's saying, look, I'm coming. So yes, everything is on the ground. Everything is working according to plan. We're hoping that we have no hiccups moving forward from here. But from this point onwards, we're looking forward to an exciting Creole Bonanza right here at Bonneville the 10th of November.
All right. So Bon Nouvel has
Yes,
been
what
there.
is happening?
Jamaica celebrations on November
What are
10th.
we? November 10th. It's not on the Jounen Kweyol day, which would be Sunday coming,
All right.
or the third by date, but the following Sunday, which is the 10th of November.
Okay.
And
Is there any
we
particular
are
reason that you
anticipating.
chose to not have it on the same day with the rest of the hosting communities?
Can you ask that again?
Is there a reason that you chose November 10th instead of to host it together with the other host communities?
Well, first of all, I did not choose it, unfortunately, but the minister would have need to be a part of this event, and I think there is a contrast of activities in the Suffolk constituency which he may have to be a part of representing. I don't know the detail of it, so hence the reason
I
why we
believe
had to push it back.
I
Because I
believe
would
it's
have been either
Bhutan will be
before
hosting
or
their own
after.
Juniper
But she's going to
activities.
be here in a while, so yeah, yeah.
Yes, so I do
So she'll
believe
be
that is
best to
the
answer
reason.
that question. Yeah.
Right. I do believe that is the reason because there is going to be a clash with not only the
Yes,
three main host communities, but also Bhutan,
yes,
which is in Soufriere. Bhutan
yes.
is
Yeah.
also, shout out to Bhutan. I missed out Bhutan earlier in my shout out. Shout out to Bhutan. My
Okay.
apologies. Shout out to Diamond as well. Before y'all say I forget y'all, I'm so sorry. So Bhutan will be having Juneko celebrations this weekend. I think it starts on Friday. They're having 3 days of
There we
activities,
go.
which is inclusive of
There we go.
cultural displays and cultural artifacts being put on display, as well as methods of old time preparations of different things. So they're going to have 3 days of
Yes.
activities. So it would have
Mm-hmm.
clashed if we had to have the same day because the minister, Honorable Emma
Yes.
Hippolyte, is one person. She cannot split herself into too many people. She cannot be everywhere at once. So we can
Exactly.
understand the reasoning behind that. That is wonderful. And we do get to experience, it's almost like we get to experience multiple Juniqueols. So
Yes.
I have
Double Jounen Kweyol.
experienced
Exactly.
Juniqueol at Bon Nouvel before.
An extension of Jounen Kweyol.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's an
And I
extension.
and Bon Nouvel is also reopening as well, so it will be a time so everybody can focus their attention on Bon Nouvel instead
When you
of
say Bon
splitting their
Nouvel is
That's
attention.
right.
reopening,
I like that you
Yeah.
said that, Erica, because
Yes.
on the Jounen Kweyol day in particular, it would be Jounen
Every,
Kweyol. But the
right?
everybody
following
everywhere
Sunday, we can actually
is
sell
Bon
the
Nouvel.
product, which is Bon Nouvel. Go ahead.
Right.
Erica, take it
Yeah.
from there. Tell us about Bon Nouvel from your customer's perspective. You have visited Bon Nouvel and
Yeah.
tell us your heart. Tell somebody why they should come, Erica.
I do not know. For those of you who are probably hearing Bon Nouvel's name for the first time, you're probably wondering where it is, where it's located. And so Bon Nouvel is an estate located in Esperance, in Ravenel, Esperance Estate in Ravenel, in Choiseul. And it's a beautiful estate. It's a beautiful estate with awesome views. There are 4 nature trail hikes there. The first time I visited was last year, December, and I fell in
Yeah.
love with the place immediately. It's serene. If you would need to go to have an escape somewhere, escape from your normal lives, your day to day, you go to Bon Nouvel and you are at peace. Trust me, you are at peace. You could just listen to the birds in the background. There's a very, very spectacular view of Gopi Tor right there. You can take awesome pictures. And if you just want to just connect with nature. There's a really beautiful prayer garden. So when I went there, I was like,
Yeah.
yes, this is the place. And I started engaging Cecilia in talks, and then I fitted myself somehow. So now, almost every day, you see me at Bon Nouvel, whether it's work and play. And I say, I work where you vacation. So it's a lovely
Yes.
place. Yes.
Yes. It's a
All right.
lovely
Yeah.
So
place.
a
Yes.
little more details about Bon Nouvel. Bon Nouvel is a 56-acre estate. Like we said earlier,
Right.
it's located in Ravino, and it has four nature trails. If I remember correctly, there's a rainforest trail,
River
Carrot
Ridge
Trail, the
Trail
Glass Trail.
the
and the
glass
River
trail.
Ridge Trail.
We
I'm not hearing you, Erica.
the River
The
Ridge
River
Trail. You girls are
Trail.
losing it. The River Ridge Trail, the
The
Glass
glass trail,
Trail,
the
the
carrot trail,
Rainforest Trail, and the
and the
Carrot
carrot
Trail.
trail.
And the carrot
Yeah,
trail. That's right.
Yes,
yeah,
these are
And
four major trails.
the prayer
yeah.
garden is on which trail?
It's on the
On
carrot
the
trail.
Carrot Trail.
Carrot trail, right? So the
Yeah.
carrot trail is my favorite trail because that's the
Yes.
trail with the river. Whichever trail that has the prayer garden is my favorite trail.
Yes.
On the glass trail, so y'all are wrong. You already
Yeah.
said that it
Oh,
is
the
the
I
Glass
glass
Trail.
think
The prayer
trail.
garden is on the Glass Trail. Yes, yes. Sorry.
I
Oh,
think
good
each
Lord.
trail has its own unique. I think each trail has its own unique features that can draw out anybody. So you have the rainforest trail if you like bird watching, you can go to the rainforest trail. If you're into the prayer garden and the awesome views, then you like the carrot trail. And I think that one is the most popular one, right? Cecilia, the carrot trail
The carrot trail is the one that
Rennie just
goes
corrected the
uphill.
Glass
That's the
Trail.
one after the glass trail. So the
after the
prayer
glass
garden
trail.
is on the
Yes,
glass trail. That's the one that has
Yes,
the herb
yes. The prayer
garden,
garden is on the
the prayer
Glass Trail.
garden, the cocoa oven. That's
right,
my favorite trail.
right.
All
There
my
you go.
features are on that trail. That's the
Yes,
trail you go on when you want to touch
Okay,
grass.
we got you.
That's the one when you want to walk on grass, when you want to connect to nature, when you want to eat a star fruit because you remember you're
Yes,
yes.
addicted to the star fruit thing.
You know
That's
your
yes.
bit.
my trail. That trail is
Yes.
mine. The
Uh,
glass trail. So this is the trail I love. This is the first trail. As soon as you
So
come
we
in,
are.
the first trail is the glass trail. All right. So as you can tell, Honorable Emma Hippolyte has joined us in studio. We're just getting her set up on camera and everything. So just bear to patience with us. So as we were saying about
Yes.
the estate. So the estate, when you say Erica that it's reopening, you mean the trails, the hiking
the
trails
tr-
are reopening.
yes, 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 they are. It
So
has been open
what can we
for a
look
little
forward
while,
to?
but we want. so- Sorry, can you say that
What can we
again?
look forward to in terms of the reopening of the trails?
Well, we're having the Creole Bonanza celebration, so people can come in and enjoy. We are trying to marry the culture, the history, with nature, the natural set up on the natural background. So if you come for the reopening, you'll enjoy, some of our culture and nature at the same time. So this is what you have to expect. Yes. Good evening. Hi.
Cecilia, is Cecilia there?
Yes,
Good
Cecilia.
evening, Minister. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
All right.
I
So
think the key question
everybody's
you
here now.
asked, which is important as well, is persons being exposed to our. One of the main crops we have on the farm is our amphibian plants, is to compare the flower issues, but also looking at cocoa, looking at the whole issue of farm to garden type of experience, what you cultivate on the farm and how you cook it. This particular event this time around, we are going to have some demonstrations in terms of how we use the clay pot to cook our local foods without using any water at all. That's a new experience that we're going to present to our visitors. Our feature as well is our calabash, which is you'll be served in your
Yes.
calabash as much as possible, and everything there is to see how persons understand what used to happen in the past.
Because I think now it's almost something that everybody's seen, that we need to almost take a step back towards what we used to do in the past. We need to start doing our kitchen gardens at home. We need to start planning our produce to store it, and we need to start looking at some of these what they call long time ago traditional methods of preserving food, cooking food, serving food, growing
Yeah.
food without preservatives, without fertilizers, without chemicals. That's a lot of the issues that are coming up now more, especially in terms of health and wellness. So it is definitely something that a lot of us are getting more interested in. And it's definitely a wonderful time. Jounen Kweyol is a wonderful time for us to embrace that. So it's definitely happening at,
Mhm.
at the right time.
And I think as well, one of the key features that Cecilia, that's her strength, which is a foot massage. She didn't mention that at all. I
Yes,
or has she
yes.
mentioned that?
No, she has not. Cecilia, let's talk about the foot massage.
There's a whole
Come
Well,
on,
one of the
tell us
things,
about it. Don't be shy.
there's a whole
the foot massages after you do your tour, your hike, um, you know, it can be quite taxing if you're not as fit as a fiddle. But whether or not, I mean, after your tour, our four trails, we part of the service we have is our foot massage. You can get a 5-10 minute foot massage after your hike, and this is the only place that this happens, only at Bon Nouvel. This is the
Yeah.
only place that you can get a foot massage right after your tour at Bon Nouvel. So this is a special feature that we have happening at Bon Nouvel as well.
Awesome.
And
So,
even as we're talking about
Bonneville,
special feature, I am thinking of our history because we're also rich in history. And I know I should have had a lot more to say on the history, but I'm asking Minister to give us a little bit of the history of the Bon Nouvel farm as we are speaking to our audience in terms of
oh
her heart,
yes,
her connection to it, her
the research
history.
that was done on the Bon Nouvel Esperance estate in itself is that it was an estate that had, from the very beginning, with sugar cane, it had slaves, and you could see some of the remnants of what used to happen in the past, but definitely the documents we have received from the archives that we have is indicating that on that farm, on that estate, the owners had different slaves, number of slaves at different times. So it is definitely a historical estate. How we preserve that is we know the location of the estate house, which is exactly the place where you have the greenhouse now. Um, the stones from the original stones from that old estate house, that's what we've used to do part of the veranda. So at least it is still visible. So there are a lot of historical parts. The old oven is still there. So we take people through that part of it. When you speak to people before, as persons, the owners that we knew of late, the Glass family, when you speak to them, and subsequent owners, they went into tobacco on the farm, and now we are into flowers, and some of the cocoa trees that you have there are still from the original farm.
Yes.
yeah, rich, very rich history, dating all the way back to slavery. I remember the original plantation house had burned down in a
Yeah,
fire, right? But the remnants, the foundation stones of these buildings are still you're able to see them on the estate.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So we want to once again let everybody know that Bon Nouvel is having their Jounen Kweyol celebration. You called it a Creole Bonanza. Is that
Creole
what you call it?
Bonanza. Yes.
Right. So the Creole
Creole
Bonanza
Bonanza.
taking place on November 10th, starting from 10 a.m. Will there be transportation available? Will there be a shuttle from Victoria or from Soufriere, from Choiseul? Any plans for a shuttle service?
I think from Soufriere and
Well, that has not been discussed, so you have to discuss that further to see further than that. So that has not been discussed.
yeah, but we can organize it from Soufriere and Victoria. It's more or less to get people to get to the place and to experience it and to look at it from a home away from home
That's right.
for a day.
Yes.
And I know one thing we know will definitely be a hit will be the food. I know
And and I know,
Cecilia will be doing her breadfruit pie.
yeah,
Oh dear.
yeah.
Who said that? Minister, you heard
I'm
her.
coming for my breadfruit pie.
And I know the
Mm.
minister said earlier, stressing on the farm to table experience, and we have to say that most of the food, the herbs, the fresh herbs, and most of the food will be coming straight from the Bon Nouvel farm, and you'll be nicely prepared by Cecilia and her team. Yes,
How is
for us
Cecilia
to
the Lodi?
enjoy.
Cecilia, we're putting all hands on deck, including yours. So
Yo,
Cecilia will be head chef for the day,
at the
Amen.
calabash. Yes, yes,
and we already
So
mentioned that
all in
we'll
all, we are
come back.
looking forward. All in all, we are looking forward to a really, really, really lovely time, a refreshing time, and a really dancing time. I was hoping that we'd have had some drums, but but we're looking for a wonderful time on at Bonneville coming the 10th. So it's going to be just a runoff from this Sunday right into the other. So the spirit is
yeah,
still on. We're still excited about the cultural Jounen Kweyol all of our country. We're taking it, rolling it right over into Bonneville. So it's like rejuvenation and refreshing, restarting and selling the product as a whole, Bonneville
yeah.
Express Estate.
Awesome. So I want to thank Cecilia and Erica for joining us to speak about Bon Nouvel's
Thank you
Jounen
so
Kweyol
much.
celebration.
Thank
You guys
you.
definitely. I want you to stay on. I hope you can join us in the rest of our conversation. But I'm not sure what Erica's schedule is like or Cecilia's schedule is like. But we're going to move on to talk about Koudemen Soufwiye. You're welcome to join in that
Yes.
conversation. Would you be joining us, Cecilia,
No,
Erica, to speak about
I will.
Koudemen?
I'll be listening in, but I
Okay.
won't be joining the conversation. Thanks.
All right, so we're going to mute you guys and we're going to move on to Honorable Emma Hippolyte. Thank you once again, Cecilia
Yes.
and
Thank you
Erica,
for
just
having
for
us. Thank
Yes.
you.
speaking with us tonight, taking time out of your
Okay.
schedules
All
and
right.
joining us on at
Uh,
night time
okay.
and
I'm going
from
to leave and I'm going
from
to be listening in.
Good.
All right.
I will be listening. All
All right.
right.
Thank you so
Bye.
very much.
So
Yes.
will I be.
Yes.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
leaving.
So Food Festival here is happening before Jounen Kweyol at Bon Nouvel. So we want to update the public on what is Koudemen Soufwiye. We had it last year for the first time. It was a resounding success. We want to say kudos to all the organizers, all those who participated, all those who contributed their time, their service, their materials in the Koudemen Soufwiye of 2023. We're hoping that Koudemen Soufwiye 2024 is going to be an even grander affair this time around and that we'll get to even more projects. Now, I do believe the committee will be meeting tomorrow to sort of finalize everything. The deadline for submission of projects was on Sunday. So all the projects have been brought forward and they're now going to start ironing out all the details of getting everything prepared. Now, there's a lot of all the things that have to happen in the background: organization, transportation, meals, getting all the materials sorted, make sure that everything can happen properly on the day. Koudemen Soufwiye is going to be on the 3rd of November. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, 3rd of November. So the different committees and communities that will be having the Kudme will be announced later on when everything has been solidified. But I do know that several communities around Soufriere, including Palmis, Barons Drive, Lenny's Hill, um, Upper Church Street, High Street area, different areas have submitted proposals for different projects that they can tackle, and everybody is going to be donating their time, their service to get those activities done on that day. So, Honorable Emma Hippolyte, tell us a little more about Koudemen Soufwiye, the vision behind it, and what we hope to achieve on that day.
Okay, thanks, Renata. Good evening, our Let's Connect family. Sorry I'm late, but I just arrived from Castries. We had Parliament today. So the story behind Koudemen Soufwiye. You've started in the conversation. They mentioned the whole issue of Koudemen, and what it means is self-help. That's what it is. It's the foundation of our society. It's how we were raised. Each one teach one, each one help one. That's what it is. It's the living in community, and as you know, I believe that somehow that part of our culture was dying off a bit, and we felt last year that it was time to bring it back into focus. And we had our first Koudemen Soufwiye last year. As you rightly said, it was very successful. We had very good participation by various communities, from Fonchajak to Bouton to Soufriere Town to Fonjalib. So this year, I don't think it's any exception. In some parts, I believe some communities have sent at least more than one project proposal. We have, I think, we received one from Mini, and the one from Mini, I think, is the community coming together to try to construct a house for two elderly brothers. I know, for example, the community of Fonjalib started a house on elderly gentleman, but did not finish. So I think that they're trying to finish that project this year. There are other areas, as you rightly said, there is a lot of area for focus on cleaning the community. Upper Victoria Street, Barons Drive, Palmis. We have not received a project from, I don't think up to yesterday, we had not received a project from Fonchajak itself. But I believe we have a project from Zeno. So that is our moment for the persons who are listening in other parts of the community. I think we got something from Etangs as well, or two projects from Etangs. That is our moment for the community to look around themselves, look around the surroundings, and see what is needed to be done, and to come as a group of neighbors and families, friends, and tackle the challenges around them. Our role is to see how we can support the programs through, especially where there's material to be purchased. Within reason, we will look at it and provide that material to the various communities. What we're going to provide as well is to assist provide water, some drinks, and food, Creole food for the day, so that the participants at least are fed, and the spirit of camaraderie. That is very important, and we must and also it's important and must not be ignored. The fact that we are trying to bring the communities to look at themselves as a neighborhood, to support each other, because what I find is now, especially among our young people, the rivalry, they are friends, and at the same time they turn on each other, you know. So we're trying to see whether that exercise of Koudemen, whether it can take root in the family again, it can take root in the community, it can take root in the entire constituency. And it was at least on Monday, God willing, when we were discussing it at a cabinet level, where other communities are saying that they want to do something similar in their constituencies. So Soufriere, there you have an opportunity again. So we work together, we continue our tradition, which was significant in terms of causing, no matter how, what you say, deprived the communities were, they were able to survive. The families that had supported the other families. So everybody brings the strength that they have. If their strength is the provision that they have in the garden, whereas if another family has the skills to do the work, they come together and put the skills, their resources together and move forward. And that is what is needed as a family, that is what is needed as a community, that is what is needed as a constituency, and that is what is needed as a country too. It is working together for the common good. So
Yes.
I'm very excited about that. The last time we did the cemetery walls, we still have not finished the painting of the cemetery, but to me, we have a bigger challenge in terms of keeping the Soufriere cemetery clean and squeaky clean. It's always a challenge for us.
Made worse now after Hurricane Beryl.
After Hurricane Beryl, because Beryl created quite a bit of damage. It broke down the cemetery walls. It covered quite a bit of the tombs. That I know, for example, we also have another tradition, which is a religious tradition of our souls and
All
all
Souls Day.
souls. Yeah, so I think the 2nd of November, we do the traditional thing of having our church service and prayers in the cemetery. So I want to thank the mayor, councillors, and staff of the Soufriere Constituency Council for taking the task of cleaning the cemetery in advance of that event. As well, I know between the Soufriere Foundation and the Soufriere Constituency Council, they've had the responsibility to assist the Soufriere parish, because technically the management of the cemetery is the responsibility of the Soufriere Catholic Church, the Soufriere parish. But the Soufriere Foundation and the Soufriere Council um, have partnered with my office, and we have been providing support to the parish in terms of trying to keep the cemetery clean. So after burial, we did significant work in terms of removing some of the vessels. There's still at least 2 huge vessels outside near the cemetery wall at the bottom, but we were able to clear that. And as I have seen, I think this started yesterday to clear the cemetery in preparation for All Souls.
Okay. Well, that's good news. I know some persons were a bit concerned about what was going to be happening with the cemetery. They had not been seen enough movement, a lot of chatter about that. So I hope that you all are taking
But,
note.
but it's interesting you say there are lots of chatter. There's a lot of chatter, but all the persons who are chattering have their families inside the cemetery.
Well,
So all they have to do is to come and fix up the tomb, come and clean the tomb, come
yeah,
and clean the loved
take
ones.
your trowel and your
And-
bucket and come and help.
And
That's what Koudemen is supposed to be about.
Koudemen is all about. You have your loved ones in the cemetery. Come and keep the thing clean.
I don't know if people are afraid of the cemetery, but then when it comes for funeral, all of you are in the funeral in the cemetery. So yeah,
There's nothing to be afraid of.
I know some people are afraid of the cemetery. I don't know
Well,
why.
if you're afraid to go alone, go with a friend.
It's not like we're going at night. We're going broad daylight. But anyways, we're going to be doing Koudemen Soufwiye November 3rd. So we're asking all those of you who are interested in participating, if you're not part of a group that is doing a project, you can reach out to our office or to Miss Krishna Sen Bryce from the Soufriere Council, who can help you assign yourself. Maybe if you have a skill, if you have a weed eater, you want to donate your skill with your weed eater, or if you're able to paint and you want to come and help to paint, whichever project it is you want to be assigned to, you can come and give your information to us, and we can help you be part of our Koudemen Soufwiye activities on November 3rd. We'll be going all around to all the various projects happening on that day. So you will definitely be seeing us all around on November 3rd for Koudemen Soufwiye. Once again, you can reach out to the Soufriere constituency office or to Miss Krishna Sen Bryce.
One of the things I would like to comment on that I really would like to see is a transformation of Soufriere town as it relates to planting the flowers. I've been crying about it, lamenting the fact that we are not taking enough pride in our surroundings. And I am really hoping that if persons who are listening who can donate plants, we are going to try to get some plants from Bath in
Myers Bridge.
Persons who love flowers. Now that's a project that
those with the green thumbs.
We have to rely heavily on the staff of the Soufriere Constituency Council. But we are going to see whether the hotels can give us some plants. But persons who are in the business of loving flowers, horticulture, please reach out to us. We need the support in terms of transforming the town of Soufriere. Plant some beautiful flowers in different places, and then the council will have the responsibility to maintain it. The last time I know the SDA Church did plant some flowers next to Massey, and then in some cases the maintenance of it. We are trying to apply some ground cover this time to sort of contain the growing up the grass, which is a big challenge after the planting.
Okay. I know the square is another area we definitely want to give a bit of upliftment with some plants and flowers and shrubbery, whatever we can. It's definitely an area that needs some colorful additions.
So we'll see what we can do. But Persons need to reach out. Persons who can make a contribution in terms of flower plants, please do so.
Okay, now we spoke a little bit about unity, and it made me remember the speech that Honorable Ralph Gonzav, gave on Sunday. So I want to do a little bit of a backwards, and let's talk a little bit about the open session of the Conference of Delegates, which took place on Sunday in Bellevue Fort. And those of you who missed it, please, I am begging you, I would urge you, go to the live. It is on YouTube, it is on Facebook. If you want it, if you want to reach out to me, I can send you the link. Please listen to Honorable Ralph Gonzalez, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, as he urges us to unite, urges us to be one with each other, to put our arms around each other. I think that message was universal and it applies to every single person, whatever color, creed, race you are. I feel like you need to go back and listen to that speech. That speech was something so touching. I don't know if I'm the only one who felt that way, but he definitely had a message for the masses on Sunday and it was very well received. I want to give kudos to the organizers, kudos to everybody who had something to do with the open session of Conference of Delegates, from the decorations to the participants to everything. I think we started on with good time. We started, even though it rained, persons were in good spirits despite the heat and everything else. But the messages from both Honorable Ralph Gonzalez and Honorable Philip J. Pierre were definitely noteworthy. I feel like we did not have enough journalists present. I feel St. Lucian journalists should have been present or at least watching so that they could pay attention to those words that were given. There was highlights of a lot of the national social programs that have been introduced to assist St. Lucians. And I think some of the reasons we don't know about the programs, we don't listen to things like this. We don't pay attention to these platforms when conferences are going on. The Honorable Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre gave an outline of so many of the wonderful programs that have been laid out for the benefit of everybody, for the benefit of the nation. And some of the little videos that they played throughout the service as well, throughout the conference as well. Some persons spoke about the different things that have been happening that have assisted them and that is there to assist others. And I know some people might say it's not assisting me, doesn't apply to me, but it will apply to your children down the line, or it will apply to generations beyond you. And that was such a message that I feel like everybody should have been able to get something out of it. I don't know if you agree with me,
Well, you see,
Honorable.
Renata, well, you are correct, and I am one that has always been saying that so far, for the 3 years of the St. Lucia Labour Party administration, that it has provided support to every, and I always make this, I make no apologies, to every St. Lucian at different levels, at different levels of contribution. I always say if every St. Lucian is purchasing bread in St. Lucia, the government has touched every St. Lucian. Because just the subsidy on flour, when the government of St. Lucia purchased a bag of flour for $144 and sells it at $88, and that is in at now, but even during COVID, to sell flour to the bakers at one point down to $35 to ensure that the bakers did not increase the price to the public. That's a government that has touched every individual. So I say, anytime you purchase a loaf of bread, whether it is the high-end bread to those persons who can afford, or the ordinary bread, which is the $2 loaf, the government of St. Lucia has paid part of that bread for you. Because if there was no subsidy, this $2 bread you have now could have been sold for about $4. So I'm saying that the average person who purchases a tank of gas, especially the 20-pound and 22-pound, anytime you purchase a tank of gas, just remember that the government of St. Lucia have paid between $16 to $20 on that tank for you. So do not say that this government has not done anything for you. It continues to do for you. If you have your children at school, at secondary school, every child in a secondary school now has a device. This government, it would have cost you over $1,000, $1,500, whatever, to buy one of these devices. So the government has touched your life. Every child going to a secondary school for the first time, every parent got $500 for each of these children. The government of St. Lucia has done that for you to ensure that your child, to facilitate your child attending a secondary school.
Paying
All your
facilities
children
fees.
paying your facilities fees, and that is where every child in the school, the government is now paying that for you. So when you really cost it, I think what we need to do is to get an economist to sit and cost each of these interventions so that we can tell the average person, if you are a parent with no child, this is what the government has done for you for the year. If you are a parent with 2 children, that's what the government has done for you for the year. But with every individual, when you look at healthcare, for example, persons who are pregnant, so the child, even before the child is born, this government is providing some support. Persons above 80, this government is providing some support. Persons who are on retirement, and that's a group that we really had to think about, because I know there are persons on retirement, that was from my experience at the NIC, who have been on retirement for 20 years, 25 years. So you know the amount that they receive was, in some cases, very small and could not support them as it relates to the cost of living, especially if they are on their own, especially if they do not have children to support them. These people, so some of the retired teachers of 20 years ago and so on, their pensions were very small, as you rightly heard. Some of them getting $300. Some of them at the NIC, I think the minimum was $250 or something, or $275, whatever it was. And that is why, as a government, we had to say, and the Honorable Prime Minister ensured that all pensioners, government pensioners, their pension would increase to $750. So some people technically got 100% increase or more.
Or more, 200 in some cases.
Yeah, in some cases.
Right.
So it is very significant what this government has done. And again, when the Prime Minister spoke, he gives you the number of persons that has impacted, that received the benefit in each of the sectors. So pensioners in particular, I know it has rubbed on them. Because while we're saying so, we also are mindful that you have what you call import inflation. That the prices, because of the wars all over the place, because of COVID, shipping problems, the cost of items before they land here in St. Lucia
It's already
was sky high.
astronomical.
And that is not only in St. Lucia, it's throughout the Caribbean. Those persons who have relatives in the States, is the same. Persons have traveled to the States now and are comparing the prices in the US to St. Lucia. Whereas before, most persons would go and do the shopping in the US with all the boxes and barrels. Now some of them are saying, send them the money if you have it, and they would just buy it here. So I'm just saying the price of goods everywhere is sky high. And what has your government done? Your government have looked at that and decided to try to take off some of the, what you call, some of the taxes that you generally pay at the customs. The government has taken off, for example, it has removed VAT on a whole list of items, especially building material.
And sanitary
plywood,
napkins for women.
And for young
Yes.
persons. Not only have we taken off VAT on sanitary napkins, we have now placed it on price control so that the price remains manageable. Persons may not understand the importance of that, but it is a very significant, because it impacts young girls in particular in terms of their attendance at school.
Yes.
And
Yes.
things like that. So it is a government that continues to focus on exactly what it said it was going to do. To
Putting
put
the people
of
first.
St.
That's
Lucia
right.
first.
That's right.
And we've done that continually and every day. That's what we try to do every day. In fact, today we were in the parliament. We removed the VAT for the National Trust. And again today, we remove VAT on water tanks and fittings to ensure that persons, especially in areas where persons are having challenges with WASCO, water and so on, we have now taken off the VAT on water tanks and the fittings to go with that, to ensure that persons could have the basic amenities at their homes. It's a government that continues to think about how we can improve your standard of living. And I'm very proud as to the work that we're doing.
Definitely. Big shout out to Honorable Philip JP and our cabinet of ministers, because the work you guys are doing, honestly, I don't know how persons cannot see that this is a government that cares. This is a government that is sticking to its mandate and ensuring that they definitely show that they care, putting the people first in all aspects. Like Miss Calixter Joseph said in our chat, they're touching solutions from the womb to the grave and everywhere in between. So it's definitely a refreshing thing to see. It's taken 30 years of my existence in St. Lucia to see a government do this for us. So I am definitely hoping that all persons are aware, all persons are seeing it, all persons are feeling it, because this is what we want you to be able to see, that this is a government that is doing what it has to do, that's putting you first, putting everything else behind, and just making sure that you are getting what you need from the babies in the womb, from the young children, from the school children, the senior citizens, and everything in between. Definitely doing it for the people, helping them to do all what they need to do, achieve all what they have to achieve. And even tonight, you came straight from Parliament, and you're here discussing these things with us, making sure that people are aware of what is going on. And this is a government that truly cares. This is a government that truly shows that they are for our people and that they are there for us. So once again, kudos to the St. Lucia Labour Party government, current government of St. Lucia. So before we end tonight, I want to just give a few announcements. We want to make sure that persons are aware that the Soufriere Adult Learning Center, which is providing NAILU courses, is still accepting persons for registration. We want to urge persons who are interested in doing CXC courses. There's plumbing, there's bartending, there's cake decorating, there's massage courses. There's a variety of courses which were supposed to start in September. So some of the courses cannot start unless they have 12 persons per class. So if you are in, and the courses are very well priced, very low cost. I think some of them are $200, some of them are just under 200, especially the CXC Math and English. So we want to urge you to please contact Mrs. Alse. She is the coordinator for the program in Soufriere. She can be reached at 285-5702. 285-5702. That's the Soufriere Adult Learning Center for persons interested in furthering their education. We also want you to make sure you follow our Soufriere Constituency Group Facebook page as well as Emma Hippolyte's Facebook page. We periodically update you on scholarships, courses, things that are available to you in Soufriere, those things available to you in St. Lucia, even job vacancies. Like for right now, there is a vacancy at Soleil Couché restaurant in Choiseul. They're looking for cooks, bartenders, stewards, waiters. The deadline for application is this week, Friday, and you can reach them at 286-6041. 286-6041. So please, if you need any of this information, you can reach out to us at the Soufriere Constituency Group, Soufriere Constituency Office. Our WhatsApp number 731-3234. Miss Emmanuel, who was speaking on our Facebook live chat, she was asking about the link for the Conference of Delegates. So you can reach out to me on WhatsApp at 731-3234, and I will send you that link. Anybody else who is interested in any of the information we have presented tonight, or anything that you would like to ask about or anything you would like to get more information on, you can also reach out to us and we can get that information to you. We will be able to answer your questions if you're able to use WhatsApp. If not, you can come down to the Soufriere constituency office. We're open Monday through Friday, so you can check us out. We usually close at 5 p.m. So you can come and get the information. It is there for you. We want you to be aware of everything that is available to you. Okay, somebody is saying that we can go to the Cuban Eye Care Clinic at the Victoria Hospital, Mr. Andre. That is in reference to persons who need eye care. Is that a free service? I'm not too aware. I guess since it's the Cuban Eye Care, it should be a free service. But there's also the blind welfare in Castries as well. So we can also give you directive in terms of persons who are trying to get their glasses at a cheaper cost as well. If you can get your prescription from the blind welfare or from the Cuban Eye Care Clinic for free, we can assist you with getting a cheaper costing eyewear online. It's usually cheaper than buying it in St. Lucia. So we can help you navigate these sort of situations as well. So we want to make sure that everybody is taken care of. We want to make sure that our citizens know that the government cares and that they are doing what they can to assist you. So we want to make sure that you are aware of all of these things taking place. And we also want to update you that Black Hat Football is happening this Friday, October 25th, as well as on the 27th in Soufriere. Tickets for adults are $20, children $10. So we want you to come and support the Soufriere Black Hat football team. They're going out once again trying to be the champions. So we want to support them. Last year we won Black Hat football. So we want to bring back that victory to Soufriere. So we want to make sure that we support our footballers. We want to support our young men. We want them to feel that support so that they don't take other avenues in other directions that are not so good. So that is one of the things we want to make sure we do. So please support Black Hat Football this Friday, October 25th in Soufriere. All right. And once again, Jounen Kweyol in Bouton this weekend. Make sure you go out and support Bouton. If not, you can also visit the other host communities for Jounen Kweyol around St. Lucia. Ancillary, Monrepo, and is it Denry? Ancillary, Monrepo. I can't remember the third one. But yes, there are free communities hosting Jounen Kweyol this year, but Bouton is having their own celebration. So if you don't want to go out of Soufriere, you're welcome to visit Bouton this weekend. And on November 10th, we're heading down to Bon Nouvel, Make It a Lime. We're going to have bus available for sure. There's going to be transportation. Make It a Lime, go to Bon Nouvel. Bon Nouvel has some of the best food. We have I can attest to that. Some of the best food, and it's coming straight from the farm. Everything is grown right there on the estate. And it's a wonderful nature hike. Like Erica Joseph said earlier in the program, you get to just basically lose yourself, get yourself away from your normal craziness in everyday life and come and take away that stress at Bon Nouvel. You can get yourself a foot massage from Cecilia and eat some wonderful food right there on the estate and have a good time. And you can also join us for Koudemen Soufwiye, where we're going to be practicing all what we preach and becoming unified and taking care of our communities on November food. Any last words from you, Honorable November food for Koudemen? Yes. Yeah. Any last words from you, Honorable Emma Hippolyte?
Well, also to inform our fishers, we had our fishers got their vessels damaged in February, as well as during Hurricane Beryl. Mm-hmm. The Minister of Agriculture and I have met with the Prime Minister on the matter. We have about 51 persons who were affected by Hurricane Beryl. About half of those persons are registered fishers, and the other half are unregistered fishers. Based on our meeting with the PM, the Prime Minister has agreed to make some compensation to the fishers, but on one condition: the unregistered fishers must get themselves registered. So we have informed the local fishing officer, that's Rita, who's working with the unregistered fishers to get them registered, because we really want to, within the next 2 weeks, to pay our fishers something so that they can get themselves back on their feet and to try to get themselves back with the boats and the engines and things like that. So I urge all unregistered fishers that got damaged in the storm to get yourself registered with the fisheries department, so that we can, the sooner you do that, the easier it's going to be for us to start the payment process to all fishers. I want to take this moment to thank the Prime Minister again for coming out and supporting us. We will make different announcements as to some of the other project works that we're trying to do. Another area we're trying to work on, I think, Renata, we are trying to meet with the executive of the Minibus Association.
Yes, that's taking place on Thursday at 6 p.m.
Okay.
So the Fossajak Minibus Association, a letter has been officially sent and responded to by the Vice President. So the meeting will be taking place this week, Thursday, at the Soufriere Constituency Office at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So thank you very much to everybody for joining us on Let's Connect this evening. You've been wonderful. I want to thank all those of you who commented and participated in our Facebook live chat. We want to say very, 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 very big thank you to you guys for keeping it locked with us on Let's Connect. And we want to say thank you very much to Honorable Emma Hippolyte for taking the time, coming down all the way from Castries tonight, joining us here before she heads home. So we want to thank her as well. Thank you to Cecilia Edward and to Erica Joseph, who were representing Bon Nouvel tonight as well. And we want to wish you guys a wonderful rest of your night and see you next week, Tuesday, for more Let's Connect. I am hoping that we shall have Major Cyril Saltibus as our guest, but we will let you know. And until then, have a good night.
One question I have. Did you remember to express condolences to the family
of Miss Angela Joseph? Yes, we did that at the start. Angela Joseph and also Marvin Hippolyte.
That's right,
yes,
Marvin.
Yes. Today has been one of those very sad days. But yeah, so we did send condolences to Doreen, to Miss Lucy, to T. John, and the entire Joseph family of Barron's Drive and the entirety of Barron's Drive, because everybody there is mourning today. All right, so good night, everybody. Until next week.
Good night.